Hey, good afternoon. Happy Sunday. My name is Jared. I host a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. We go live every morning at 8 a.m. till about 9:30 Eastern on YouTube and Twitch. If you can't catch the show live, you can always watch the playback, and we're talking about news and politics. We try to use reputable sources as often as possible and stay grounded in reality. And I have noticed, again, I'm pointing this out, that like all of these left-leaning content creators that platformed a certain individual who shall remain unnamed, that have since left TikTok, lost their cash cow, lied about apparently who all was in attendance at this speech. And again, it's all crocodile tears. It's all for clicks. They're all platforming hate. And then when something bad happens, they're crying crocodile tears. When the reality is they lost their cash cow. There are very few people that are less formally educated and more violent with their speech than Charlie Kirk. There just isn't anyone on that level. And again, I've said before, I'll say again, that was a miss. That shot that hit Charlie Kirk, that hit him, that killed him, that was a miss. And so it makes me wonder, who was this? Was this supposed to hit him? Was this supposed to? Was this a Butler PA repeat that went awry? And again, I'd said I wasn't worried about Charlie Kirk's fans' reaction, like no, or Fuentes, or no. I was worried about who his wife and his daughter would become. And his wife right away, almost creepily, Donald Trump almost right away, creepily, like was able to turn away from this tragedy and just move on. And that's what's frightening. Is that Donald Trump has shown that he will stop at nothing to avoid accountability. Stop at literal sacrifice his best friend. I'm not sure who ordered the hit on Charlie Kirk. I have to think it's BB. Yeah. I think it makes sense because Charlie Kirk was starting to question some shit. He wanted the Epstein files released. He had pondered about what was going on in Israel. And don't dismiss him as like a social media influencer. He was the founder of Turning Point USA. Like he was a CEO of hate. So I consider that another a CEO unaliving, a school shmooting, not political violence. Remember that I told you this. Political violence, the people perpetrating the violence have a game plan. They have something that they're trying to accomplish. What was the person who unalived Charlie Kirk trying to accomplish? Now, if your argument is that when you're full of hate, it's like you're on fire, and unaliving him was kind of like putting him out, like putting out a fire. I can get behind that, but that's the beef that I'll have, is that the person that did it, we've memified death. When we're writing catch fascist on bullets, when we're writing shit on bullets, that's fucking insane. We're beyond help. We need to prioritize mental health. We need to deprioritize armed conflict against one another. That has to be we have to de-escalate, because what's happening is that we are rapidly approaching regular mass violence, American on American, and it's like we don't need any of this. This is being perpetrated on us from outside influences. Russia and Israel have, like, they've invaded effectively without having to fire a shot, and they have us at each other's throats. And I'm just pointing out very obvious shit that, hey, what happened to the he who shall remain unnamed was meant to spark a civil war. It foment further division, especially along racial lines, because one of the things that Charlie Kirk was most definitely was a racist. He was most definitely a racist, transphobe, homophobe, sexist, Islamophobe, you fucking name it. He held like all of the wrong opinions and was very loud about that. And when you hear him speak, when they try to martyr him, remember I told you that he won't be able to be martyred because Donald Trump is receiving the best healthcare the world has to offer, and it's keeping him alive way longer than it was supposed to. And I'm willing to bet Charlie Kirk's death was not part of the plan. This was not supposed to happen. This was supposed to be another Butler PA incident. This was supposed to be mass PR. He was supposed to survive that, extend his fist. He was supposed to be the Speaker of the House. I'm telling you. People think it ended somewhere. No. It was this was an unintended consequence that I think not only Donald Trump but Charlie Kirk's wife had knowledge of. They had knowledge of the shooting before it happened. This was planned, coordinated, and executed right in front of our eyes. Wake the fuck up. Things are never as they appear. Let's say it like that. Have a good rest of your day.